Alrighty, everyone. Welcome to the second of this doubleheader matchup between LTU and Siena Heights. Apologize for the technical difficulty. We're a few minutes into the first half, and LTU is up 4-0. Here comes a floater. And it's grabbed by LTU. That is Ramon Zapater. With it now on offense is number 11, Dalvin Walker. Pass it over to Zapater. Looks to hand it off, but he still holds on to it. Now here comes a floater from Damian Thompson. And there is a blown whistle. A foul on the Saints there. That was number 10 of Siena Heights, Joshua Wilson. First free throw of the attempt. The free throw attempt that game is up and no good. At the line right now is number 1, Damian Thompson. Here comes the second free throw attempt. It is up and drilled in. 5-0 now LTU. Here comes Siena Heights. Being pressed up on right now. In the key right now, number 10, Joshua Wilson. Is blocked by LTU. Still a scoreless as Siena Heights. Meanwhile, here comes a hook. Sails right over the rim. And Siena Heights, the heel of Danilo Rajic was out of bounds. So it's now going to be LTU ball on the baseline. 16:58 to go in the first half. LTU up 5-0. On the baseline right now is number 13, Kareem Sarayaslan. Loose ball now on LTU's end. Having to regroup with it now is Damian Thompson. Hands it right off to Michael Afrikoff. Just going to play hot potato with it. That's Walker. Up to Kareem Sarayaslan. Goes up for it is Zarubika, and it is now 7-0 LTU. Back on defense now is LTU. Wilson over to Nick Sabush. Gets tossed, tangled up. And we got a timeout now from Siena Heights. 7 unanswered points of LTU. Oh, my bad, not a timeout. It'll be an inbound pass for LTU. Vuk Zarabika will be doing the honors for the Blue Devils. Who passed it right over to number 13, Kareem Sarayaslan. So now is Michael Afrikoff. Now Thompson for 3. Off the rim and into the hands of number 23, Jack Olis of the Saints. Now here they come on offense. That's Nick Sabush. Passes it to Jonas Tester. Dealing with it around now as we get a whistle blown. Foul's going to be on number 10, Vuk Zarabika. Oh, my bad, number 11, Dalvin Walker. First foul of the game for LTU. Handing it off now was Jack Olis to Sabush. He's now going to Tester. Back over to Olis for 3. Takes a couple bounces into the hands of LTU. Back on it with the transition is the Blue Devils. Handing it right off. Now it's Walker. Bouncing around a little bit. We got a whistle blown. Now it's going to be Siena Heights ball. Still a 7-0 ball game. 15:43 to go in the first half. On the inbound now is Danilo Rajic. Oh, got another whistle. Might be some confusion here as Coach Joe Pachota of the Saints is talking with a ref right now. All right, with it now on offense. right, on offense with it now is LTU. It's Thompson to Walker, who gives it to Zarabika. Here comes a three. Off the mark. Siena Heights is able to get on the rebound. 15-10 to go in the first half. Still a 7-0 ball game for LTU. All right, handing it off now was Sabush. Now to Wilson. All right, the basket was canceled out. Got a foul on Siena Heights. And now we get a stoppage of play. It's a timeout. We'll take a short break. We'll be back 15 minutes in the first half. 7-0 LTU when we return. All right, we are back from the timeout here. A little less than 15 minutes to go in the first half. LTU is currently up 7-0 as Siena Heights will have the ball in their offensive side. On the baseline with it now is Siena Heights, passing it around a bit. Now it's Daniil Rajic looking for an open man. He's got Nick Sabush on the near perimeter, playing hot potato with the ball a bit. 10 seconds go on the shot clock. There's Rajic with it on the right post. Cross-court pass sails off the hands of Joshua Wilson and out of bounds. It's now going to be LTU ball on the inbound. That's number 4, Michael Afrikoff, who's going to give it right over to Alberto Moratti. They're crossing around on offense. There's Thompson. Now to Afrikoff, who's going to give it to Zarabika. Now to Moratti. Back to Zarabika. Handing it off to Afrikoff. 12 seconds to go on the shot clock. Bounce off of Sabush's hands and out of bounds. It's still going to be LTU ball, though. Siena Heights is going to make a substitution. In now is number 33, George Kalatsis. Now back resuming play with his LTU. Underneath the rim for 2, and he drills it. Makes it a 9-0 game here. 14 minutes to go in the first half. Here comes Siena Heights now. Rajulik for 3. Sails around the rim into the hands of Brandon Krett. Now over to Moratti. To Damian Thompson. Over to Zarabika. Zarabika hitting over for a 3. That was Michael Afrikoff, but it is no good. Siena Heights now regroups now on offense. Crossing midcourt with it is Joshua Wilson. Joshua's going to try and float one in. No good. Rebound attempt. Getting swarmed by 3 Blue Devils as we now get a stoppage of play from the referee. Foul on the play from Alex McCoy of the my apologies. Foul on Alberto Moratti there. Second foul of the game for the Blue Devils. Over on the baseline now is Joshua Wilson of the Saints. Still trying to find the first points for the game for the Saints, as LTU has locked them down so far. Banks it off the floorboards. Here spins around. Just left of the rim. Now LTU's back with it on offense. That's Davin Walker. Now to Avuk Zarabika. Back to Walker, who's going to fling it to Luka Uzelik. Now Uzelik's going to hand it right off to Bogdan Kret. Bogdan's going to float one. He's got it. 11-0 now. 13 minutes to go in the first half. Siena Heights has had no answer so far. Has been unable to score in the first 10 or so, 10, almost in their 8 minutes in this game. Still down by 11, looking for their first points. Here comes Kalatsit. Kalatsit thinks about it, steps around, off to the right of the rim, into the hands of Walker. Now in translation with it is LTU. He's going to race around with Walker. Right in the paint with it was Uzelik, but he can't control it, and now it's back onto the possession of Siena Heights. As now they're going into the key. Joshua Wilson doesn't get the basket, but he does draw the foul, and he's going to head to the line for the first time. Uzelik is going to be the one charged with the foul there. First foul of the game for him. As Siena Heights looks to get gets points on the board for the first time in this game. Here's the first free throw from Wilson. Goes up, and it's right of the board. A few substitutions come in for the Saints. Number 42, Atlas Dong now comes in, as well as number 4, Trevor Gillis. Also number 0, Josiah Rainey. Here comes the second free throw attempt for Wilson as it goes up, and it is good. First points of the game scored for the Siena Heights Saints. It is now 11-1 LTU as the Blue Devils have it. Soraya Slane, who passes it to Uzelik, who now gives it for a three, was Zarabika. No good there, unfortunately. Back with it on offense now is Siena Heights. Marching on to the right side is Wilson, who's going right around a couple defenders is Josiah Rainey. Goes up for two, and he's got it. 11-3 now, LTU, up by 8 with 12 minutes to go in the first half. As Soraya Slan bounces around in the key. Now to Zarabika. Back to Soraya Slan. And a whistle's blown. Oh, going to the baseline now is LTU. Foul on the play from Siena Heights. That's number 21, Ethan Norman. Or number 33, George Kalatsis. All right, Kareem Soraya over on the baseline, passing it to Zarabika. Now Walker has it back to Zarabika. Tries to get it to Kret, but it's off the hands of a defender. Still LTU ball, though. Got a substitution going in. Damian Thompson back on the court for LTU as Bogdan Kret heads over to the sidelines. Now passing it is Uzelik. Now for a three. Off the rim. That was Soraya who tried it. Back on offense now. Siena Heights. 11-3 ball game here at the Don Riddler Fieldhouse, and the second of a doubleheader between these two programs. The women's team was able to march away with a victory of 84-69 for Siena Heights. Meanwhile, for LTU, they are up 11-3 in the men's matchup. Here comes a three from Wilson. Pinballs off the rim and into the hands of the Blue Devils. Now racing for it is Damian Thompson. Now over to Kareem Soraya-Slan. Off of defender, now back to Soraya-Slan. And he sinks the three in, makes it 14-3 LTU. They are running away with it, having an 11-point lead, 14-3, with a little less than 11 minutes to go in the first half. Meanwhile, here's Kalatsis. He tries the three, but it goes off the board in the hands of Luka Uzelik. Meanwhile, here comes Soraya-Slan again. He gets it in and the and one. It is now 16-3. They are pouring it on so far. 10:40 to go in the first half. All right, at the foul stripe right now is Kareem Soraya-Slan. This will be his first free throw of the game as it goes up. And it is good. 17-3 now, LTU. Up by 14 with 10.5 to go in the first half. Here comes Nick Sabush of the Siena Heights Siena Heights Saints. He's over on the near side. Rainbow passes it over. Now it goes right back to Sabush. Dong has it once again. He tries, but he draws the foul. LTU bench is not liking that. So Siena Heights is going to head over to the foul stripe. That's going to be Atlas Song with the first free throw of the game for himself. Going to try and cut this lead to 13. They've only scored 3 points in this first half. First free throw is up, and it is no good, as it shakes a little to the right. Meanwhile, number 23, Jack Ollis, is back on the court for Siena Heights. Meanwhile, for the Blue Devils, number 8, Ramon Zepeda, is back out on the court for LTU. Everyone's all set. Here comes Dong's second free throw attempt. That is also no good. It has been near nightmarish for Siena Heights. Only scoring 3 points and down by 14 as LTU continues to pour it on. Here comes Sariaslin, who charged onto the left post. Now over from Zepeda. Here comes a three from Thompson, no good. Siena Heights rolls right to it. Crosses midcourt now. Right around the arc. Inside. Passes no attended person there as Josiah Rainey has to race for it. And we have yet another foul from LTU. That is the 7th foul for LTU. Siena Heights has now entered the bonus. We're going to take another break here as the timeout's called on the court. 17-3 ball game, LTU, with a little less than 10 minutes to go in the first half. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back from the timeout. I'm Noah Stalker. I'm play-by-play here at the Don Riddler Fieldhouse in Southfield, Michigan, where we're at the second of the doubleheader games between Siena Heights and LTU. Men's team is up right now, 17-3, as the first free throw attempt from Josiah Rainey goes up and good, makes it 17-4. We got 9:47 to go in the first half. It's been all LTU so far in this game. Meanwhile, here comes the second free throw attempt. Swirls around the rim and drills it in. 17-5 now. LTU is currently up by 12 as they head into the offensive end. Here's Michael Afrikoff, who gives it to Davin Walker, who then flings it right to Zepeda, who gives it right to Damian Thompson. Thompson trying to shimmy around, draws the foul, and it looks like he's going to head over to the line. This is going to be the second set of free throws for Damian Thompson. He is currently 1 for 2 in the game, and he makes it 2 for 3 as he swishes it right in. 18-5 now in the first half of this doubleheader. 9:34 to go. All right, recalibrating right now is Thompson. Here comes the last free throw. It goes up, and it is good. Makes it a 19-5 ball game here. Straight blowout from the LTU Blue Devils. Absolutely wiping the floor with the Saints currently in this first half as Nick Sabush tries to direct traffic for the Saints, getting pressed up by Michael Afrikoff. Ball's bouncing around from Saint to Saint. Here comes Josiah Rainey. Rainey's going to try and bank it to Danilo Rajic, but he's not able to control it as the ball sails out of bounds back into possession of LTU. 9:14 now in this first half. Here come the Blue Devils now on offense. Walker is going to pass it to Ramon Cepater. Hand it right off to Afrikoff. Afrikoff's going to give it right back to Walker for three. Bang! He's got it. Nice job there by Davin Walker. Wide open for the three, makes it 22-5 with less than 9 minutes to go in the first half. All LTU ball so far in this first half. Siena Heights has no answer for this team, for the onslaught that the Blue Devils have given them. Here comes Rajic, who gives it for a three to Nick Sabush, and it goes out. So far, no one on the Saints has made it from beyond the arc, as LTU goes for a three of their own. Airballs it. Still keeps it inbounds. Was a Cepater, but Siena Heights is now able to get it in transition. Trying to get it now into the key was Jonas Tester. No basket there, but foul is called on LTU. It's going to be an inbound on the baseline. Down deep with it now is Sabush, who's going to overhead a rainbow pass over to Kalatsits, to Rajic. Almost gets stolen with his Sabush as he attempts to lay up. No good. Rajic still has it. Wilson with a step back. No good. Rebound. Still no good. Cepater still keeps it in. Ball is still live with less than 8 minutes to go. 22-5 LTU. Thompson with it. Now to Cepater. Hands it off to Lucas Moore. Moore finger rolls it in. And he's extended this lead even further. This has been a blowout so far. It is currently 24-5 LTU as we head into yet another timeout. We'll be back with the action here at the Fieldhouse. But it's just been all LTU. We will return soon. All right, we're back from that timeout here at the Fieldhouse in Southfield, Michigan. LTU has a 19-point lead on the Saints, 24-5 with 7:40 to go in the first half. Siena Heights going to try and answer this barrage that LTU has poured on them. Meanwhile, on the near perimeter is Joshua Wilson. Gives it over to Nick Sabush. My bad. Meanwhile, right underneath the rim with it is Rajic. Goes over the hands of Wilson and out of bounds. All right, LTU now has possession of the ball. Here comes Karem Sarayaslin as he marches on over to the far side. Who flips it to Zarabika. Now Cepater has it. Cepater's going to hand it to Zarabika. He's going to try and charge. And he draws the foul there. George Kalatsits is going to be called on that foul. Second foul of the game for him so far. As LTU now heads over to the foul stripe. Never mind, inbound pass to Cepater. Handing it right off to Afrikoff for three. Left of the rim and into the hands of Siena Heights. 6:57 to go in the first half. LTU up 24-5. Sabush to Kalatsits. Step back short of the rim. Into the hands now back to LTU. Racing with it is Sarayaslin. Now to Zarabika. Now to Cepater, who's just going to toss it back to Sarayaslin. Ref calls a foul there. be an inbound now. 6.5 to go in the first period. 24-5 still LTU. Zapater right on the edge of the arc. A finger roll is no good from Streisand as is knocked right out of his hands, but they still get control of the ball as they're on the baseline with it. Streisand heaves a rainbow pass over to Zarabika, who gives it to Afrikov, right back to Zarabika. Cross-court pass, 1, 2. Just not inside. Almost made the 3 there from Dalvin Walker. So a 19-point lead for the Blue Devils. We get another overhead cross-court pass. That's Jonas Tester, who gets a floater of his own. And that cuts it to 17. 24-7 LTU. And now Streisand loses it as Sabush goes up for 2. Rolls around, nothing there. LTU gets control of the ball back once again. Here comes Walker. Now Zapater thinks about a 3, but he's has second toss, gives it to Walker. As Walker draws the foul there. Tester's going to get called. Going to be another baseline pass for LTU. Up by 17 right now with a little more than 5.5 to go in the first half. It's been all Blue Devils in this. A huge pass to Dalvin Walker. He's right on top of the LTU logo. Gives it to Zapater, gives it right to Afrikov. Thinks about going for 3. So he gives it to Streisand right in the left corner. And he sinks that 3 right in. He's got it for now it's 27-7. 20-point lead for LTU. 5:18 to go in this first half. Siena Heights tries to respond. A floater from Wilson is no good. Still a 20-point lead for LTU. Streisand slings it to Afrikov. Takes a couple bounces into the hands of Siena Heights. No good there on that throw. Here comes Tester. He's over on the left post. And we have yet another media timeout now. LTU currently up 27-7, a daunting 20-point lead over the Siena Heights Saints in this doubleheader matchup. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back after that media timeout. Less than 5 minutes to go in the first half. LTU currently up 27-7 against the Saints. Here's into Rajic, who gets over to Sabush. Now to Wilson. Now back to Kalatsis. Now back to Rajlik. They're just bouncing the ball around. Trying to dribble around Lucas Moore. Here comes a floater. Off the rim and into the hands of LTU. That was Vuk Zarabika. LTU now. Here's a 3. Back of the rim and into the hands of Siena Heights. Now back on offense is the Saints. Over in the left corner. Now bouncing it around from left to right. Here's Tester. Now Kalatsits. Step back. Nothing. Doesn't go in, but they do draw a stoppage of play. like it's going to be a foul on LTU, and Siena Heights is going to go to the line. George Kalatsits is going to be the one who does the honors for Siena Heights. First free throw attempt for the man, as Siena Heights makes a couple of substitutions. In now for the Saints is Jack Olis, number 23. Here comes the first free throw attempt from Kalatsits. It's up, and it is no good. LTU is now able to regain possession of the ball as they head on to their half. Sarai Slin charging into the key, wide open for three. Sails it right in. Nice job there by Bogdan Kret to extend the lead to 3-7. Less than 4 minutes to go in the first half. Here comes Sabush to Kalatsits to Rainey. Back to Kalatsits, back to Sabush. He's over on the far perimeter. Whistle blown. Three is completely negated due to that stoppage of play. It is still 30-7 LTU. Siena Heights is yet to reach double digits so far in this game. It's just been a nightmare for the Saints. Going 2 for 10 from the field. Meanwhile, LTU going 11 for 26. As for threes, while LTU has only made 23% of their threes, Siena Heights has made absolutely 0 of them. And that has definitely been one of the few things that have shown in the score so far in this game, as LTU holds a 3-7 lead as we approach the final minutes of the first half. Both teams are currently in huddles right now as we look over the top scorers in this game. For Siena Heights, 3 of their players have 2 points. That is Nick Sabush, Jonas Tester, and Josiah Rainey. As for the Blue Devils, it has been all Karem Sarayaslin so far. He is the only one on the team with double-digit points at 11. Next closest is Bogdan Kret with 7. But so far, it doesn't matter for the Blue Devils. They have had full control of this first half, and they have shown no signs of letting up whatsoever as they resume play on the inbound. Here comes Sarayaslin. He's going to pass it to Kret. Back over to Sarayaslin, the 2 top scorers of this team, just going back and forth with the ball. As Sarayaslin for 3. No good on the 3 attempt. Right into the hands of Jack Olis, as Siena Heights looks to try and get some more points on the board. Here's Rainey over to Joshua Wilson, over to Olis, who's going to immediately pass it to Sabush. Now here's Atlas Dong with a 3. Nothing there. Bogdan Kret still tries to keep it inbounds, but fails to do so. It is still Siena Heights ball in their zone. A little more than 3 minutes to go. Here on the baseline is Joshua Wilson. Gets a pass off to Olis. Olis is going to try and hand it right off to Wilson. Now Wilson trying to cross around. Gets a pass to Sabush. Now he charges in behind the net, and it is stolen right by Bogdan Kret on the transition within LTU with a couple steps, and he drains it. 32-7 now with less than 3 minutes to go in the first half. LTU still pouring it on. Here comes Joshua Wilson with it, crossing midcourt. Dong with the screen pass, or screen. Ball takes a few awkward bounces into the hands of Ramon Zapater, who's going to toss it over to Sarayaslin, who gives it right to Kret. Kret trying to spin around, pass it to Sarayaslin. They're calling that a foul on LTU. It's going to be Siena Heights ball once again. 2:17 to go in the first half. Now Wilson is going to jog dribble his way across midcourt into the LTU end. Now here's Dong to Olis for 3. No good there. Still trying to search for that first 3 as Wilson goes for one of his own and fails to do so. Meanwhile, we have a foul on Siena Heights. It's going to be a jump ball, actually. Or my fault, not a jump ball. It's going to go to the line. Less than 2 minutes to go in the first half. LTU up 32-7 as Karem Sarayaslin heads up to the line. Sarayaslin is currently 1 for 1 on free throws so far in this game. Let's see if he can make it 2 for 2 here as it goes up, bounces off the court, off the rim and into the hands of the Saints. Now as Wilson marches with it, heaves a pass on to Sabush. Sabush stops, steps back, gives it to Dong. Dong charging his way into the key, and he sails it in 32-9 now. LTU still has a demanding lead over the Saints with 90 seconds to go. Playing keep away with his Zuzelik. Now to Sarayaslin. Cross-court pass. No good from Lucas Moore. Airballs it into the hands of Siena Heights now. Oh, we got another whistle. We got a whistle blown. Stoppage to play here as looks like Siena Heights is going to take a free throw attempt here. Lucas Moore is going to be called with a foul as both teams are now currently in the bonus. Here comes the first free throw attempt for Atlas Dong. He's currently 0 for 2 on free throws as he's able to make his first of the game. As Siena Heights has now crossed the double-digit mark, they are now down by 22. It is a 32-10 ball game here at the Don Riedler Fieldhouse in Southfield, Michigan. Here comes the second free throw attempt for Dong. Goes up and no good. Still a 32-10 ball game with a little more than a minute to go. Here comes Bogdan Kret, who passes it on to Zarabika. Here comes a three from Thompson, and he's got it. 35-10 now. LTU has a commanding 25-point lead as we enter the final minute of this half. Siena Heights trying to look to cut the lead down as much as they can as Rainey flips it. Well, all of them are flipping into each other almost immediately. Now here comes Rainey trying to pivot around, and he sails over the board and no good. Goes out of bounds, and now it is LTU ball. 38.7 seconds to go in the first half. As Lake McIntosh resumes play, gives it right over to Lucas Moore. And Moore's going to pass it to McIntosh. They're just going to try and drain what's left of this clock. On the far side, there's Moore. Banks it to Zarabika. Now he's going to get to McIntosh. McIntosh floats it in for 2. Jumps that lead up to 27, less than 10 seconds to go. And Siena Heights loses it in transition, and this LTU bench is fired up. With 4.1 seconds to go, it will be a throw-in on the baseline for Siena Heights. Wilson's going to try and look for someone out deep. Here comes a 3 attempt. No good. Here's a cross half-court pass. It's just short of the mark from Dayton Thompson, but that's okay because LTU now heads into halftime up by 27. They are up 37-10 in this game. As we're going to take a bit of a break. We'll be back with more men's basketball action here as LTU looks to extend this lead when we return.
At Lawrence Technological University, every Blue Devil represents more than just a student athlete. They represent dedication, passion, and the pursuit of excellence. That's why we're proud to introduce the Blue Devil Legacy Club, a membership-based initiative dedicated to enriching the lives of our student athletes and elevating the future of LTU athletics. The Blue Devil Legacy Club exists to inspire positive change, promote teamwork, and enhance the overall college experience for every LTU student-athlete. By supporting both the physical, mental well-being of our student-athletes, members of the Legacy Club ensure they have the tools, resources, and opportunities to succeed, not only in competition, but also in the classroom and in life. As a Legacy Club member, you play a vital role in shaping the future of LTU athletics. Your support helps fund facility upgrades, strengthen student-athlete health and wellness programs, and create an environment where champions are built in character and in sport. Join us in creating a lasting legacy for Lawrence Tech Athletics. Together, we can empower our student-athletes to reach new heights in the classroom, in competition, and beyond. Become a member of the Blue Devil Legacy Club and leave your legacy for a brighter future for LTU student-athletes.
right, welcome back to the action, everyone. At the start of the second half, LTU is currently up 37-10 as Siena Heights is on offense. Trying to spin with it now is Danila Rajic, who is able to get the scoring going in the second half. It is now 37-12. Meanwhile, LTU here on offense is Ramon Zapater, who hands it right off to Karem Sarayaslin. Back to Zapater for three. Skips off the rim and into the hands of the Saints. Now here comes Joshua Wilson. Fumbles the ball a little bit. Able to re-corral it and give it to Nick Sabush. Meanwhile, Danilo Rajlik loses control of the ball, and it's now going to be now possession is going to change to the Blue Devils. A little less than a minute has passed in this half, and the Blue Devils are currently up by 25. All right, refs are trying to get everything all set. On the inbound now is Davin Walker, who gives it right over to Alberto Maradi. Now Maradi passes it to Sarayaslin. Now over to Walker, to Thompson, to Damian Thompson. Now Thompson still has it, pivoting around. Now back to Maradi. Maradi gets it to Zapater, who sinks in the layup, and it is now 39-12 LTU. 18:40 to go in this half. Siena Heights trying to find a way to scrape back into this as Jack Olis has the ball. Here comes a three attempt from Zalek, and that is good for Siena Heights. That's the first three that's been made so far by the Saints in this game. Meanwhile, LTU on the left side with it. Spinning around is Thompson. Now here comes a three from Sarayaslin. He's got it, 42-15. 18-10 to go in the second half. LTU is able to respond with a three of their own now as Siena Heights tries to scavenge for some more points, but it is stolen underneath them by Sarayaslin. Trying to direct traffic with it now as he passes it on to his left to Damian Thompson. Now Thompson gives it over to Maradi. Maradi is just dancing through the key. Now giving it to Thompson, who gives it right over to Sarayaslin. Screened by Zapater. Across from one side of the perimeter to the other is Davin Walker. Floats it off the rim into the hands of the Saints. Now here comes Joshua Wilson charging around a couple Blue Devils. Lose control, but he corrals it back in. Zalek airballs it right into Sarayaslin's grasp. Now LTU back with it, jogging across midcourt. Huge pass to Sarayaslin. On the left corner with it is Thompson. Not enough power on that, but it goes out of bounds, and it's going to be a backline or backcourt pass for LTU. Here comes Sarayaslin, passing it to Zapater, handing it right off to Thompson. He thinks about a shot, but he gets choked up by Sabush. Now passing her alongside, and Sarayaslin draws the foul right there, and he is going to head over to the line. Oh, my apologies. He's gonna head to the backcourt, to the baseline. He gets the pass to the Pater. Here comes a three from Thompson. He's got it. 16:54 to go in the second half, and LTU is up by 30. It is a 45-15 ball game. LTU is picking up right where they left off here. Meanwhile, Joshua Wilson prancing with it. On the left arc. I guess to Zylek, who now gives it to Zabush, who attempts the three, and he sinks it for the Saints. 45-18 now as LT rushes back with it on offense. Sarayaslin passing it to Damian Thompson. Thompson around his legs to Zapater, who is just going to flip it to Sarayaslin, who flips it back over to five, but here's Sarayaslin with the three, no good. Rebound attempt from Maradi. Overheaded to Thompson. Another left corner three. Off the rim. Right back into the hands of LTU. Zapater. All the way. Nice catch by Thompson. Keeps the ball alive with 13 seconds to go on the shot clock. On the right corner, charging with it is Walker. Here comes another three. No good, unfortunately. Right into the hands of Siena Heights with 15:41 to go in the second half. Here comes Wilson trying to charge into the lane. Gets beaten by a couple Blue Devils, and he draws the foul there as he gets to go to the foul stripe. First free throw attempt for Siena Heights in the second half. Got a little stoppage here right now. LTU staff just trying to make sure the court is shined and up to code. Ref thinks there still needs a little bit more polishing. As that happens, let's go over some how Siena Heights has been doing so far from the line. Both them and the Blue Devils have made the same amount of free throws, except Siena Heights has way more quantity over LTU. They've only shot 44% from the line compared to LTU's 66%. Meanwhile, beyond the arc, Siena Heights has been atrocious compared to LTU. LTU has been able to make 25% compared to Siena Heights' 15%, as Wilson's first free throw attempt bounces off the rim and no good. These disparities so far have contributed to the score that is right now, as LTU holds that a 45-19 lead as Wilson sinks his second extra point. All right, Davin Walker is going to cross midcourt now as he hands it right off to Michael Afrikoff. Now to Damian Thompson. Now right on the stripe is Zapater. On the far side, passing it to Thompson. Now Walker between the circles. Hot potatoing it to Zapater. Now he's going to charge into the lane, and he's going to draw the foul there. Nice job by Walker to draw the foul, and now he gets to go up to the line. As an individual so far, Davin Walker has only scored 3 points in this game, and he heads up to his first free throw. First one goes up, swirls around, and is no good. Still a 45-19 ball game here in the Don Ridler Fieldhouse in downtown Southfield, Michigan. 15-16 still to go in this game as Walker's second free throw is up and good. Puts him at 4 points in this game, and it puts the LTU lead now to 46-19. As Siena Heights is now in between the circles on offense. That is Jonas Tester. Meanwhile, here comes a three from Kalisitz, and it is no good. Back on it now is LTU. Here's Zapater. Gives it to the near perimeter to Thompson. Now Zapater has it back again. Now here's Walker. Crosses over a pass to Sariaslin, who then finger rolls it in for two, and it is 48-19 LTU. Meanwhile, a cross-court pass has been stolen by Walker, gets punched out of his hands and out of bounds, and now we're going to go take a media timeout. LTU up by 29 points right now, and they've been running away with it this entire game. We will be right back to the action. All right, heading back from that media timeout. 14 and a half minutes to go in the second half. LTU currently holds a 48-19 lead over the Siena Heights Saints as they are now back on offense. There's Bogdan Crete, who gives over to Afrikov, and then immediately gets it right back from Zapater. Now Zapater has it once again. Right back to Afrikov. Back to Zapater. Up top. It just swirls just out of the rim. Would have made it a 15-19 game, but Siena Heights has it back on offense. Here comes Kalisitz. He's just poking around the lane, and he's able to sink it in for two, and it is now a 48-21 game. Cuts the lead to about 27 as LTU's back on offense. Here's Ramon Zapater. Hands it right off to Brogdon Crate. This is Zarabika. Now here comes Riesland for three. No good. LTU still keeps on offense. Afrikov tries to save it, but it crosses the blue sideline, and it is now Siena Heights ball. Atlas Dong is going to be doing the inbound for Siena Heights. Now Joshua Wilson marching his way to LTU's zone. Now it's Kalisitz to Dong. Dong banks it as the ref calls for a stoppage of play. Heading to the baseline now is Joshua Wilson. And meanwhile, we're going to get a substitution in for LTU. Number 21, Luka Uzelik, is in for the Blue Devils. Meanwhile, Wilson crosses the pass to Kalisitz. Meanwhile, Tester for two, floats it in, and it is now 48-23. Here comes LTU with about 13-15 to go in the second half. As Karem Sarayaslin, who is currently leading the team with 16 points, has the ball. He passes it to Kret, who gives it to Afrikov. Afrikov is just going to trots his way up. Can't get the layup in. Still a 48-23 game. Siena Heights has it now. Spinning with it was Rainey. Now here's Wilson with a floater. No good as Dong knocks it out. But it's still going to, but apparently it went off the hand of a Blue Devil. It is still going to be Siena Heights ball on LTU's side of the court. Going on the inbound now is going to be Dong. Meanwhile, out of bounds now as LTU regains possession. Davin Walker is just going to pass it to Sarayaslin. Now they're crossing pass over to Zarabika to Kret. Now back to Davin Walker over to Uzelik. Uzelik corralling it around to Sarayaslin. Now he's going to pass it behind him to Kret. Kret trying to cross up Wilson. He's able to get it to Sarayaslin. He's going to go for three. It's just short of the mark as Dong kicks it out of bounds, and now LTU is going to have it on the baseline. But before we do that, there's going to be a timeout called. We're going to take another short break. 12:17 to go in the second half. LTU currently up by 25 when we come back. All right, welcome back from that timeout. 12:17 to go in the second half. LTU is currently holding a 48-23 lead as Davin Walker is currently on the baseline ready to resume play. Oh, in between the legs of a Siena Heights player. No good, though, unfortunately, as Jonas Tester races up to the basket. But not going to be able to get anything going there as the ball sails out of bounds and back into possession of Lawrence Tech. Here's Lucas Moore with it now as he crosses midcourt. He's going to pass it to Zarabika, back to Moore. Moore for three. He just can't get it in. Still going to be Lawrence Tech ball as it sails out of bounds. Back on the baseline is the Blue Devils. Lucas Moore is going to be the one throwing it in. He gets it to Uzelik. Uzelik is going to flip it right back to Lucas Moore as he's circling his way around. Now he's going to give it to Zarabika. Now Bogdan Chi right back to Zarabika. He's going to go for three, just left of the rim. Davin Walker's able to get the rebound, though. Now Bogdan Chi on the right perimeter. Inside the arc with it is Uzelik, who gives it back to Zarabika. Now Moore right underneath the rim, and he finger rolls it in for two as they cross the half-century mark. It is now 50-23. They are up by 27 against the Saints right now as we reach the 11-minute, 20-second mark in the second half. Now here's the Saints with an attempt at a response. That's Kalisitz to Dong. Dog stops. He's going to pass it to Tester. Now Tester's going to shoot for three. The jump shot is no good. And it's going to be LTU ball now as this goes out of bounds. All right, play now resumed. At 9 minutes so far, have played in this half. LTU is currently up 50-23 as Lucas Moore gives it to Zarabika, who gives it to Davin Walker. Davin Walker is over on the far perimeter. Now they're just passing around. Wide open with his Zarabika. He's going to go for three, and it sails off the mark. Rebound attempt by Kretz, no good. Another rebound, still no good. Out of bounds, Siena Heights ball now. 10.5 to go in this half. Crossing now is Joshua Walker, or Joshua Wilson, who gives it over to Danilo Rajlik. We get it right back to Wilson as he's right between the circles, enters the arc, gives it to Rainey. Now on the right corner for three. Too short of the rim as it goes back into possession of LTU. Now here's Davin Walker. Here comes a three from Zarabika. And once again, that is just short of the rim. Back and forth with it now as these two. Now here comes Wilson once again. He goes in uncontested for the layup, and he's able to drain it. And it is now they have cut the lead to 50-25 LTU with less than 10 minutes to go as Davin Walker swirls the three around the rim and out into the hands of Siena Heights. Now here's Rajlik, who gives it to Rainey. Now Rainey's going to find his way into the foul line. He goes for a jump shot, but it is no good. Right back into the hands of Walker as now he gets it right to Lucas Moore. Now right back to Walker. Now to Zarabika. Walker thinks about it, but he's going to give it to Moore. He's going to shoot, but he goes right over the rim off the board. As Siena Heights attempts to try and get some more points on the board. Here's Jonas Tester. He's going to go for a wide open three, and he sinks it. 50-28 now, slowly chipping away, but they still got got a lot to go through. But we're going to take another timeout here. A little more than 9 minutes to go in the second half. LTU is holding on to that 50-28 lead, and we will be right back. All right, welcome back from the timeout. I'm Noah Stalker here at the Don Riller Fieldhouse as the LTU men's team is currently up 50-28 with a little more than 9 minutes to go in this game. They have had full control of this game from top to bottom, and they're hoping to extend this lead even more as they enter Siena Heights end. Here's Davin Walker with it now. Here comes a three from Sariaslin, no good. Bounces right into the grass of Siena Heights. Now here comes Nick Sabush, who's gonna fling it over to Danilo Rajlik. Now Jonas Tester has it on the near perimeter. He's gonna go for another three. Banks off the rim into Sariaslin's hands. Now he's gonna cross over midcourt. Wide open on the right corner with it was Africa, but it was stolen by Nick Sabush, who's able to sink it in. And now they're only up by 20. LTU needs to keep the foot on the line's neck here as they're about to hit the 8-minute mark in the second half. Meanwhile, Damian Thompson, he goes for three, and it doesn't go in. Right into the grasp of Siena Heights. Now they're going to try and chip this lead down even further. Here comes Siena Heights. Here comes Rajlik. He bounces his way into the paint, who gives it right back to Rainey, who swirls a three outside the rim into the hands of Lawrence Tech. Still up by 20 with it now is the Blue Devils as Davin Walker attempts a pass, but he's able to draw the foul, and now he's going to go to the line. So far, Davin Walker has been 1 for 2 on free throws in this game. Oh, my apologies. This is going to be an inbound pass, and Damian Thompson is going to be the one to do the honors. That is my fault, as he gives it right to Michael Afrikoff, who gives it right back to Thompson. Now to Sariaslin, back to Thompson. Now to Walker. They're just going back and forth with each other. Here comes Thompson with the three. He's got it. 53-30. LTU is able to extend that lead even further. Now it's a 23-point deficit for Siena Heights. Meanwhile, underneath the rim with it is Tester as the whistle's blown. I'm going to call Sariaslin on a foul there. That's his 3rd foul of the game so far, as Jonas Tester is now going to go to the foul stripe. For reals this time. This will be Tester's first free throw attempt of the game. Try and make it a 22-point deficit. And he's able to connect on the free throw there. Makes it a 53-31 game for LTU. They still got plenty of breathing room, but Siena Heights is slowly chipping its way back into this as he gets the second free throw now. Makes it 53-32. Now back on offense with it is the Blue Devils. Davin Walker over to Afrikoff. Now to Zarabika, who's just passing it over to a couple other Blue Devils as Sariaslin gets the two, and then he gets the and one. Makes it a 55-32 game, and he's going to go to the line to try and extend this lead even further. Karim Sariaslin has been an absolute monster so far in this game for the Blue Devils. He's one of 2 Blue Devils in this game that has double-digit points, leading the squad with 18. Damian Thompson is right behind him, though, as he also makes the free throw attempt. Now make that 19 points. And Thompson's right behind them with 14 as LTU extends their lead to 24. 13 minutes have been played so far in this game. LTU still looking to hold on to this victory as Jonas Tester has control of the ball on the near perimeter. He's now going to give it to Rainey, who attempts to lay it up underneath the rim, but it bounces off the bottom and goes out of bounds. Still Siena Heights ball as Sabush goes to the inbound. Ball right around the logo with it is Siena Heights. That's Tester, who's now going to do another jump shot, and he floats it in for 2. 56-34 now. 6.5 minutes to go in this game. Here comes Michael Afrikoff. Now Damian Thompson to Walker. Now to Zapater. Now they're just immediately just feeding it to each other. Here comes a layup attempt from Zapater, and he drills it. 58-34 now. LTU currently up by 24. .6:15 to go in the second match of this doubleheader between these two programs earlier in the day. The women's team for Siena Heights was able to come through with a victory. And as it looks right now, LTU is looking to even the score as they currently have a 24-point lead as Siena Heights has been called for traveling. Possession goes right back to Lawrence Tech. Here comes Afrikoff with it. He's going to cross midcourt with Damian Thompson, who gives it right over to Zarabika. A pass to Afrikoff is no good, but it goes off the hands of Josiah Rainey. Going to be an inbound for LTU. It's going to be Afrikoff that does it. He's going to get it over to Thompson, who's going to fling it immediately to Walker. Now to Zapater. Now over to Thompson from Afrikoff. Tries to spin around to Saint. Attempts to lay it up, but he's blocked by Rainey as Rainey races his way over to the basket. He gets knocked down. Zapater's now going to go in transition. Over to Thompson for two. He's got it. It's 60-34 now with 5:21 to go in the second half. There's Roslick with it. Now to Tester. Roslick attempts to screen Afrikoff, and he's able to do so. Here's a jumper from Tester, is no good. Right into the hands of Walker. Now Walker's going to give it to Thompson. Back to Walker. Back to Thompson. Thompson for three. No good. And it goes out of bounds. It's going to be, looks like it's going to be Siena Heights on the baseline. But before we do that, we're going to go to yet another break. Exactly 5 minutes are left in this half. LTU is up 60-34. And it looks like they're just going to hold on to this when we return. All right, welcome back to the action, everyone. 5 minutes ago in the second half, both teams have broken their huddles after that timeout, and LTU is running away with this game. Currently, it is 60-34. They have a 26-point lead over the Saints right now, but they are currently on the defense as Siena Heights tries to narrow this margin as Jonas Tester attempts a three, races his way into the lane, and he's able to knock the layup in and get the and one attempt. Makes it a 36-60 game. Trying to make it 60-37 for Siena Heights. This will be Tester's third free throw attempt. He is perfect so far at a 2 for 2. Takes a couple bounces, but it's able to pinball its way into the net. And it is now 60-37 LTU. Here's Walker with it. Here's it to Zarobika, who gives it right back to Walker. Bounces off a couple other Blue Devils to Afrikov. Now it's back to Walker. Tries to get his Zarobika, but it's stolen. Here comes on the fast break is Siena Heights. And they get it right back in. 60-39 now with a little more than 4 minutes to go in the second half. LT back on offense. Soraislin to Zarobika. Bouncing it around in a triangle now. Here comes Soraislin for a three. Air mails it, and it goes out of bounds Afrikov had his foot on the back court before he was able to get it out. And we're going to take another timeout here. 4:02 left to go in the second half. LTU up by 21 when we return. All right, welcome back to the action, everyone. LTU currently up by 21 with less than 4 minutes to go. All right, now we got a whistle blown. Looks like you're calling for a hold. That is Vuk Zurabika, who has committed his third foul of the game. Both teams have committed 5 fouls in this half, as Siena Heights is still on offense. Here comes Wilson. Right in between the circles with it is Kasovitz. He goes for a slam dunk, and he drills it, 60-41. Still got a ways to go now, down by 19. LTU still has control of this game. Zarobika flings it to Sarayaslin. Now they're just connecting the dots over, now it's to Pater. Heaves it over to Sarayaslin, now to Afrikov. The Pater has it now. Here comes Zarabika for 3. 2 right of the board. Still keeping it inbounds. Here comes Thompson with the 3. Nothing there. 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the second half. LTU up by 19. Here's Josiah Rainey. Now he gives it to Kotzelitz. Tries a 3, but it's no good. So Siena Heights ball as it goes out of bounds off the hands of the Blue Devil. And as Donovan Walker now subs it in for Zarabika. And there's Kalitzitz. Now to Wilson. Wilson goes right around Thompson. Rolls it up. No good. LTU's got the ball back. 2:47 to go in the second half. LTU still up by 19. In Siena Heights area. They're just bouncing the ball to each other. Here comes Afrikov for 3. Looks like it was going to go in, but it's swirled out. So Pater still gets it back. Here comes Sarayaslin for an easy 2 right there. Unguarded off the board. 62-41 now. Makes it a 21-point disparity. 2:18 to go in the half. Here comes Wilson. He tries a 2 of his own, but it's no good. Dong tries to steal it out of the hands of LTU, but he is not successful in that endeavor as LTU's back on offense. There's Thompson with an overhead to Sarayaslin, who are just going to feed off each other immediately. Now that's Walker passing it to Zapater. Afrikov thinks about it, but he's going to give it to Zapater. Thompson goes for a 3. That's no good. Right into the hands of Atlas Dong. And Siena Heights is back on offense. And now we got a whistle. Got a travel. And we're going to take another timeout here. 1:44 to go. LTU is up by 21. We'll be right back. All right, after that quick break, we return back to the action with 1:35 left to go in the half. LTU's holding on to this 21-point lead. And they're now on Siena Heights' side of the court. Here's Davin Walker with it. To Sarayaslin, back to Walker. Tries an over-the-court pass to Thompson. Now Zapater right inside the paint. Loses the ball there. Siena Heights is back with it on transition. This is number 22, Antonio Nieto, in for the first time of this game. Now Kalitzitz. Now over to Trevor Gillis. He's over to Dong. Over to Nieto. Now Dong has it back on the near perimeter. Gets pushed around by Sariaslin. Gets knocked down and called for a foul there is Sariaslin. Gonna get back to it on the baseline. Michael Nieto overheads it to Kalitzitz. Tries to spin around. Almost loses it. Gives it over to Nieto, who's able to knock it in for two. It is now 62-43 with less than a minute to go. There's the Blue Devils immediately just passing around at each other. It's way too fast, might I add. 3 attempt by Thompson is no good, as he tries to stomp Nieto right in his tracks. Tries to steal underneath him. Here comes a 3 attempt for Dong, and that's nothing but net right there. That's a nice throw by Dong. It's still a huge deficit, though. It is 62-46 with 20 seconds to go. LTU is probably just going to run this out for a bit. This game is pretty much over as LTU improves their record, and they now have won 2 straight. Just going to dribble this one out until the buzzer beats. And now the clock has hit 0, and that will do it here at the Fieldhouse as LTU wipes the floor with Siena Heights 62-46. With that win, LTU now improves to 6-2. After this game, they're going to travel over to Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to take on Lake Superior State on Saturday the 29th. Next time that we'll meet in the Fieldhouse will be on December 17th as they'll take on Cornerstone University. That has been it from me tonight. This has been a very riveting and interesting doubleheader between both LTU and Siena Heights. They are able to split the matchups. The women's team for Siena Heights was able to strike first, while LTU's men's team was able to respond back. I've been Noah Stalker here on Play by Play. We will see you next time on the 10th of December when they're back, when the women's team is back onto the Fieldhouse. But until then, we will see you soon.
At Lawrence Technological University, every Blue Devil represents more than just a student athlete. They represent dedication, passion, and the pursuit of excellence. That's why we're proud to introduce the Blue Devil Legacy Club, a membership-based initiative dedicated to enriching the lives of our student athletes and elevating the future of LTU athletics. The Blue Devil Legacy Club exists to inspire positive change, promote teamwork, and enhance the overall college experience for every LTU student athlete. By supporting both the physical, mental well-being of our student athletes, members of the Legacy Club ensure they have the tools, resources, and opportunities to succeed, not only in competition, but also in the classroom and in life. As a Legacy Club member, you play a vital role in shaping the future of LTU athletics. Your support helps fund facility upgrades, strengthen student-athlete health and wellness programs, and create an environment where champions are built in character and in sport. Join us in creating a lasting legacy for Lawrence Tech Athletics. Together, we can empower our student athletes to reach new heights in the classroom, in competition, and beyond. Become a member of the Blue Devil Legacy Club and leave your legacy for a brighter future for LTU student athletes.